Wager Talk even before the game is played with our Wager Rewards program. How does it work? Simple. Earn wager rewards on every purchase made at Wager Talk and Sports Memo. Those wager rewards can be converted into wager bucks on the first of every month. There is no additional fee to participate, and no additional details are required outside your valid Wager Talk or Sports Memo membership. On the first of each month, 5% of your wager rewards will be converted to wager bucks, which are available to purchase on all future purchases. Doesn't it feel good to be part of a rewards program with no additional hoops?
Happy Tuesday, guys. Welcome to Wager Talk TV. Carmine Bianco, and this is Stoppage Time. Champions League returns after taking last week off. It's match day 5, and there are some big games as some group winners can be determined over the next couple of games. We're going to cover, right off the top, we're going to cover the Dortmund Man City one as Erling Haaland returns back to his former club in Germany for a match day 5, a big game. With first place implications still on the line there. Then we're going to do Barcelona and Bayern Munich. Barca trying to avoid getting sent to the Europa League. They're going to need a big win in this one on match day 5 and hope for a little bit of luck in that pleasing game. And then, of course, Liverpool and Ajax, another big one in a group that is still second place is still up for grabs in that one. With me, Kevin Dolan has the day off today. He will be back on Thursday, but Nick Borrman of Wager Talk and Pavlos Laguretos. Let's bring the guys in. Pavlos, you get a few extra minutes on today's show with Kevin having the day off, but how are things for you guys?
Nick, you can go first if you want.
Things are doing well. I felt like since the last week, couldn't just get anything going on soccer. It was just a rough run, but winning day Saturday, winning day Sunday, another winning day yesterday. So hopefully build a little streak here heading into the Champions League, and happy to get that turned around. Had a nice golf outright winner on Sunday as well with Rory. So that's the second outright winner so far in 5 events this season. And been doing some NBA props, and that's been going very well. 3-1 last night, plus 7.5%. Profit so far on the season. Haven't released a ton yet, but it's been a slow start, but it's been very good there as well. So things are going in the right direction at the moment. Hopefully we can continue to keep that rocking and rolling. And I do have a 5% play loaded for the Champions League card going on Wednesday this week, 3-1 so far with 5% Champions League plays. Only the damn red card from Man City the last match day screwed me over. Otherwise I might have been 4-0, but 3-1 still good, and hopefully we'll continue to roll that as well.
Keep hitting it out of the park, Nick. Keep hitting it out of the park like the Philadelphia Phillies are doing.
Yeah.
Keep hitting it out of the park. But listen, I have to check after the show, I'm going to check with my service provider on my phone because Marco has horses that race and win, and I never get the text messages from him. You have golf futures that hit. I never get the text messages from you. Maybe the text messages are being held up at the border by a Canadian or U.S. border security. Who knows? I'll have to check at the end of the show because I'm not getting any of these messages, and I do like money. So, Pavlos, are you getting any of these?
No, and if I was, it would be weird because I live in Greece, and I don't even know Mark, so that would be weird. Now, as far as soccer goes, I'm coming off a really nice weekend, 10-2-1 over the weekend, and flawless on Saturday, 4-0. I had a push in my 10% play on Manchester City -2, but I'll take it. Made some money, plus 23% in the 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I couldn't be happier. I have a big 5% top bet in the Champions League going live tonight. I should say today because it's one of the early matches, the 12:45 p.m. Eastern slate. I'm 4-0 with this Champions League 5% top bet so far in the season. Flawless. I'm looking to continue the streak, and I also have a 3-pack for tonight with 3 selections that I really love. And tomorrow's plays are going to be loaded probably after the show. Now, we really like a lot of these angles in this Champions League play, so I'm really happy to discuss with you guys.
And discuss we will. And I was on that City one as well, too. if it was probably one of the worst games I've seen Mahrez have in a while. If he, just get it on net, he was off his game. That had probably a 4 or 5-1 scoreline written all over it, Pavlos, in that game. But I felt at the end that we might have been fortunate to get the push in that one, so I'm pretty happy with that, although not as happy had they covered that game. Anyways, guys, let's get right to it, and we'll have some time to discuss these ones. First game on the board, this one goes today. It is Borussia Dortmund and Man City. The line on this one, Dortmund plus 393. The draw is plus 330. Man City plus 158 in this one. Nick, I'm going to go to you first on this. I'm leaning Man City. I'm going to tell you right now, the price is short enough. They're sitting on 10 points right now. Dortmund's sitting on 7 in this one. It's plain. It's simple. I think obviously get a draw for City and they're through. But they're not coming here to get a draw. They're coming here to win. Salt this one, which affords them the opportunity on match day 6 of resting some players in this game. And I just think technically they're a better team. I think the Erling Haaland coming back to face his former squad is going to bring something extra to this game. Minus 158, it's in my wheelhouse as far as prices go. You're not laying that much, and City is the play for me. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's hard to argue against if you're choosing a side, taking City. They clearly have been fantastic this year, and there's really no numbers that are going to, want to take you off that team. You took the words kind of out of my mouth as far as, City, yes, they could advance here with a draw, and a draw is really actually good for both sides, but Pep does not play for draws, and he is not going to bring these guys in here looking to play out a draw. I mean, maybe in the last 5 minutes, if it is tied, he might not push forward for the win, but the rest of the game, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to go for the 3 points. We previewed this match on Stoppage Time earlier this year, the reverse fixture, obviously, and I suggested taking the under in that game. It did come through. It was 2-1. The under was set at 3.5. Right now, the under is set lower this week. It's at 3 at a slight plus price, plus 110 or so, or you could buy the alternate line 3.25 at about minus 125. And I like the under again here. But that first meeting, my thought process was, yeah, it's the rematch with Haaland coming, he was home, but Haaland playing his former side. But to me, it was like, all right, well, if there's any team in the world that's equipped to stop that guy or at least slow him down, it's got to be Dortmund, with the players and the coaching staff all knowing him very, very well and knowing his tendencies. And they did a very good job. And I think, in this match, it's going to be a similar type of a setup for them, because that's their only hope, is to try to, you can control that guy, you have a chance. If you let him run wild, he's going to score 2 on you easily, and, it's going to get out of hand quickly. So if they can focus again on that, I think they'll have a chance to do that. And as I mentioned before, Pep might not be playing for a draw, and Dortmund would be very, very happy with the draw here, because that will see them through. So I think that alone kind of changes the game tactic for Dortmund to be, I don't want to say sitting back necessarily, but at least not pushing forward and not making themselves vulnerable often, because they really don't need to. We all know how good City's defense is, mostly because they just dominate possession, and the other team just doesn't have the ball enough to even really threaten. But Borrman has been pretty good too. They're allowing 1.09 expected goals in Bundesliga this season. That is third. At home, they've been particularly good, just 5 goals in 6 games. 2 of those goals came against Bayern, and the other 3, you guys might remember, were against Werder Bremen in their meltdown game, in which they gave up 3 goals after the 89th minute. So otherwise, they've been very solid at home. And barring a complete meltdown like that, knowing, again, if this situation is close at the end, both teams might just be like, all right, we both can to move on from this type of result. I think it might just play out a little slow towards the end, but of course, if there's a goal early, it might change the play a little bit. But I think it's going to come out slow, and I think both sides will be a little extra cautious. But I like under 3, and if you're willing to buy the 3.25 line at minus 125, probably maybe minus 130, it's worth buying that as well. So I like the under here, guys.
All right, Nick Borrman at Wager Talk. Pavlos, you look at this, and as Nick mentioned, in that first game at the Etihad, 2-1 for City. Dortmund, it was a 0-0 at halftime. Dortmund took the lead, I think, in the 55th or 56th minute of that game before a couple goals in on for City gave them the win. A win here by Dortmund, if it was to happen by let's say two goals plus, will likely put them top of the group and in control of this group with only a game against Copenhagen on the final match day. Does that factor into how you're going to break down this game at all?
Yeah, because you guys both hit the nail on the head. Even though City, actually both sides, they can move on to the next round with a draw here. But I don't think anybody's going to play for the draw. I mean the space between them and Sevilla or and Copenhagen, they both have a couple of points each. Is they don't really care what's happening behind them in the standings. They just want to deal with each other. And I think that Dortmund actually played a solid game against this juggernaut that City is so far in the season. I think Dortmund played a solid game in the reverse fixture in England, and now they're playing at home. And I see the odds dropping. Actually, they've plummeted to on the City money line and on the Dortmund money line and the draw. They're going up. So I'm kind of tempted by Dortmund plus 1 goal here. To be honest, it's probably not going to be not going to make my card unless I'm going to see the lineups first. But I do see goals here. I do see goals. I wouldn't be surprised by a 2-2 draw at plus 1200. Wink, wink, guys. Just keep that in mind if you want some high odds from this match. What I do look at is a player prop, and I'm looking at Jude Bellingham as some people mentioned in the comments as well. Jude Bellingham is having a career season. He's just 19 years old. Really promising player, probably, if not the best, one of the best 19-year-olds in the planet right now. And it's really great to see young players flourish, especially in the Champions League. Now, Bellingham was excellent over the weekend when Dortmund blasted Stuttgart, was it? Yeah, Stuttgart, by 5-0. He scored twice. He's been instrumental for Dortmund in the Champions League so far in the season, scoring 4 goals in 4 group stage matches. And he also scored against Manchester City, of course, in the reverse fixture. Now, he's a complete midfielder. He can play in several places in the midfield as a holding midfielder, as a creative midfielder. He's so talented that the coaches just use him anywhere, wherever there is need. And he's not shy to test his foot. Now, he scored a lot of goals, as I said, already in the Champions League. And I think the prices are a disgrace to his name. It's a small name for now, but he's going to be a huge name for sure in the future. Now, I went to see goal scoring props for this match, and I saw Jude Bellingham at plus 600. The guy is really red hot right now. He's been scoring. He scored in all Champions League matches so far. He's one of the players that everybody is paying attention to their offensive trio. He really likes to sneak a couple of shots on goal there. So I like Jude Bellingham to score at plus 600. I think that's way too high a price. And just a small stick bet on the 2-2 draw at plus 1200 for me.
All right, and Pavlos, he is having a very good season. 8 goals, 2 assists thus far across all competitions. The DFP or the German Cup, obviously Champions League, and then of course Bundesliga. So pretty good season for him thus far. Let's have a look at the recap of the leans on this one. I'm on Man City, laying the number. Nick is on the under 3, getting plus money, and Pavlos is on Bellingham to score at plus 600. Some juicy money there. We can all get there. We talked about it on Thursday's show with some of the EPL games on the weekend, how even though we had differing opinions, we could all get there, and I think we did. The Chelsea Man United game was one where we liked the under, we liked the draw, we liked United getting half a goal, and we all got there. So we could all get there here with a what gets us there?
1-2 for City.
1 City. Nick gets a push, and you and I get the win. Nick's good with a push. He's good with a push. All right, let's get on to the next one. This one, a big one at Camp Nou. This a big one at Camp Nou. Barcelona, Bayern Munich, the group of death, as they called this one to start. Barcelona plus 139. The draw is plus 267. Bayern Munich plus 180 on Bayern Munich, guys. You almost never see that price. Having a quick look at our live lines to see what the update on this number is, because I'm always curious. Still 182 on Bayern Munich, 131 on Barcelona, and the draws at plus 286 on our live lines. Wager Talk's live lines are absolutely awesome. Always visit our page, and it's absolutely free. Pavlos, I'm going to go to you first on this one. I am going to say this. I get it. It's a big game for Barcelona. They need to win, but Barcelona have been in positions over the last few years where they had big games. They needed to win and just don't seem to get there. This one's on, it's all on Munich. It is all on, if they come to play, they are winning this game, and they're winning it at a juicy plus 180 price. If they come looking just to get a result, secure a draw, then that's a completely different thing. But I just can't pass up the 180. As good as Barcelona play at home, Bayern Munich, I think, are just in a different league right now. I'm taking the plus 180. Can you talk me off this?
No, absolutely not. This is the best price we're going to see Bayern Munich probably the entire season, unless they meet, I don't know, maybe City at the final. This is a huge price. And, Barcelona, no matter how good they are, yes, they're coming off a nice win against Bilbao, 4-0. Prior to that, they beat Villarreal by 3-0, which is a testament of how strong they are at home. And they've kept clean sheets, in both matches. Just a few days after conceding 3 goals against Real Madrid in the El Clasico, they conceded 3 goals against Inter Milan in their previous Champions League match, which, by the way, should have been a loss. I was watching that match, and Inter Milan had the chance to do the 4-3 there at the stoppage time or whatever in the last minutes of the match, and the guy didn't pass. He had an open forward in the area. He didn't pass. He chose to shoot himself, and that was a 3-3 draw. So, but again, take those couple of results with a grain of salt, because it was Inter Milan and Real Madrid, and mainly Barcelona were missing a lot of defenders. Pretty much their entire starting back line they were missing, but now most of them are back, and we saw clear effects by that, because they kept clean sheets against Bilbao and Villarreal, who are pretty solid offensive sides. But now Bayern Munich are coming to town, and it's gonna be hard for Barcelona. I mean, they really want to win and keep their hopes, just a few slimmers of hope, actually, I should say, to qualify, but I don't think this is happening. I think they're going to the Europa League. Yes, they're going to fight tonight. I'm not sure if they're going to win. Again, this price on Bayern Munich is really high. Maybe you can go with maybe some kind of spread or something, but I like Barcelona's chances to at least fight for it. And I'm going to go with a player prop again. I'm going to take Lewandowski over 1.5 shots on target, minus 125. He's averaging well over 2 shots on target per game in the La Liga so far in the season, 25 shots on target after 12 matches. In the Champions League also, he had 4 shots on target in the match against Inter Milan, 1 shot on target at Inter Milan. He had 2 shots on target in the reverse fixture against Bayern Munich, and 4 shots on target against Pilsen. So I think he's going to be the focal point. I'm not sure if he's going to score. We're just looking for shots on target, and that's another way of saying don't care who wins and don't care who scores. You just want a couple of shots on target by Lewandowski, and then you get paid. You just don't worry about the match. You switch on to a different match. So for me, it's by Robert Lewandowski over 1.5 shots on goal at minus 125.
All right, I like that one, Pavlos. Nick, listen, I mentioned it. It's Bayern's in a different league, and this is probably one of those ones where I'm going to wait to see an hour before to see what lineup they put out there, because that's probably going to influence whether I want to just sit off of the game or take the big plus money with Bayern. But you look at Barcelona thus far this year, just in La Liga play, 6 games, 5 wins, 1 draw. They have not been scored on yet. They've outscored opposition in domestic league play 15-0 thus far. And then there are 2 Champions League games, as we mentioned, 3-3 against Inter, 5-1 against Pilsen. Can you make a case for Barcelona winning this game outright? Let's just start there.
I have tried to make a case for Barcelona on several big matches this year. Like the first time around, the reverse fixture of this, they didn't need to win the game. They were getting plus goals, and they seemed to play well on the field. That game, they had their chances. I feel like they very easily could at least got a draw in that game, but they're just not scoring. They're just not actually getting the ball in the net. And Another example that is, the El Clasico just last week against Real Madrid. They just are not simply showing up and getting the result that you would expect a big team to get in a big match. They just can't do it, no matter how good their numbers might look as the game goes on or through the game. So I don't trust them. I don't want to, lay goals, which is like minus a quarter of a goal right now, on them to do so. You do get a small plus price if you are trying to get them to win, but I don't trust that they're going to be able to do it. This is a do or die game for them. Unfortunately for them, they have played themselves to a position where control of the group is no longer in their hands, but it obviously starts with a win in this game. But I just don't have a lot of confidence in them actually getting a result. They did bounce back with back-to-back clean sheet wins over Bilbao and Villarreal at home. Carmine, you mentioned how good they've been at home. Obviously, Bayern is another animal, another level of challenge here to face at home. So it's hard to compare who they've played so far. But they, you can only, as you always say, Carmine, they can only beat who's on the schedule, and they've done a good job at least at that. I just don't really trust that they can come in here and get the result that they've proven so far they can't do against big teams in big games. Bayern are qualified already for the knockout rounds, but they still do have some work to do to clinch the top spot. So I don't see them rolling over or, putting out a weaker lineup here by any means. So I kind of like this game playing out similarly to how we saw the first time around, and that's an under for me. Both teams clearly capable of putting up goals. Obviously, they have a lot of attacking talent, but we talk about it a lot on the show when you have two offensive-minded teams playing one another. It's easy to quick look at goals, but to me, sometimes that overinflates the line a little bit. And I think we have that here. We have a 3.5 goal line. I think there's a lot more chances that this thing stays under, maybe a 2-1 result either way, another 2-0 type of result, than it does to go over the total. Both teams are used to playing with a lot of possession, and I don't think either one of them is going to have that going on. They're going to struggle with each other and who's going to hold possession of the ball, and that changes the game plan a little bit as they press forward and move guys into the attacking third. So when your normal play on the field is changed ever so slightly, it kind of throws the guys off a little bit, and they're not used to exactly where they need to be on the field. And I think that played into that first meeting, and I think it could play into this one as well. So I actually like under here. It seems to be the theme I'm going with today, but big teams on the docket, and I think we're not going to see as many goals as people expect. So I think 3.5 is pretty good value to take under right now, guys.
Nick Borrman at wagertalk.com. And Nick, I agree with you. Listen, the road for Barcelona to get into the knockout stages is a difficult one, but it is still there. Assuming that Inter does what they're supposed to do and they win their match day 5 game against Pleasant, they go to 10 points. Barcelona are on 4 right now. They would have to win this game to take them to 7. And then their final match day, Inter have to travel to Germany to face Bayern Munich. Anything short of a win in that one leaves the door wide open for Barcelona to get in. So there is a shot for them to get in. They would need, as we said, I think an Inter loss. I believe, I could be wrong there. Nick, am I wrong on this one? If Inter win today, are they through? I believe they're through.
No, you're right. They need a result from that Bayern game. A draw, though, would get them in. So if they lose to Bayern, then Barcelona has actually, I keep saying that, but we talked about this before, that if they're level on points, I think it's over because they lost the tiebreaker. Inter with the win today.
Inter with the win and draw against Barcelona have the tiebreaker in that one. Yep. But to your point earlier of obviously of Barcelona, just not it's we've seen it. You look at level of teams, and the teams that they have dominated in domestic league play are one thing, but it's taking that step up against the elite teams, the Bayern Munichs, the Real Madrids, and you have to play a complete 90 minutes against these teams. You cannot take 15 or 20 minutes off during the game like they have done in some of these others when they're up 2 or 3-0, because they will punish you, and that's what Real Madrid did to them eventually in El Clasico. But we've spent enough on this game, guys. Let's get on to the final one, because we've got a lot of Liverpool fans out there wanting to know what we're going to do with this one. Liverpool and Ajax. Let's look at we saw the leans there. Sorry about that, guys. Liverpool and Ajax, the line on this one, Ajax plus 323 at home. The draw is plus 305. Liverpool, a small favorite at minus 129 in this one. Pavlos, I'm going to go to you first on this one, but I'm going to take Liverpool. I'm going to lean on Liverpool. They may not be having the best Premier League season, but they are right in it in this group. And this group is still open. It's still wide open. I think we're at a point now where they need to win this game. They're sitting on 9 points. Ajax is right behind them on 3, but a win by Ajax puts them 3 points back of Liverpool. And it sets up a very interesting match day 6 with Liverpool hosting Napoli, who beat them 4-1 in Italy. And of course, Ajax taking on the Group A whipping boys, Rangers, who have yet to win a game and have been outscored 16-1. Liverpool for me, Pavlos. Where are you going?
I wish I could be on your side, Carmine. My pick is one of those famous don't care who wins types of situations, because I really can't make my mind up on picking a side here. Ajax, they've been up and down this season. They got destroyed by Napoli, conceded 10 goals across 2 matches. They've recently found some steam. They've won 3 of their last 4. They're 9-0 to the both teams to score in their last 9 matches, regardless of competition and venue. Over 2.5 goals is 8-1 in that span, and the combo of both teams to score and over 2.5 goals is also 8-1 in that span. But if you look at their last 5 matches, especially, Ajax are 5-0 to the both teams to score and over 5.5 goals. A total of 32 goals have been scored in the last 5 matches by both sides, an average of 6.4 goals per match. That's insane. And all 4 of their Champions League matches so far had over 2.5 goals, and 3 of 4 also had both teams to score. So I think this is a match where taking both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at -125 is the baseline here. Liverpool, if anything, I'm afraid of Liverpool not scoring. Yes, I know these words that are coming out of my mouth are weird, but this Liverpool team is weird. Just when you think they got, they got a grip of their season, they're going to right the ship, they go and crash it into an iceberg, or should I say an ice cube, because, they lost to Nottingham. Out of all the EPL teams, they lost to Nottingham, the team that was just recently promoted from the Championship to the EPL. They're still sitting at the bottom of the league table, even after beating Liverpool. And I'm at loss for words for this Liverpool side. Yes, if they win, good for them and good for you, Carmine. But I think they are in. I don't know. I don't want to back Liverpool at all at this. At this competition, at these prices. I really think this is going to be a match that has goals. I don't really think that both teams will go out there and play defense. Judging by recent stats and trends, yes, Liverpool have somewhat dropped the rhythm in these matches, trying to play, trying to keep clean sheets. But it doesn't really work out for them. So I think both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at -125 is the way to play this.
All right, Pavlos, listen, I agree with you, Pavlos, and I really want to thank you for the reminder. It took me 3 days of therapy and medication to forget about Liverpool losing to Nottingham, and in a mere 15 seconds, you brought that memory back. So I really want to thank you for that one. I don't know how they lost that one. They come off they score 7 against Rangers, then they beat City 1-0. They beat West Ham. You think all right, they're about to turn around their season, and then they lose 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. I do not understand this game sometimes that we love. Nick, I'm gonna go to you on this one. The only thing that worries me about, and Pablo's talked about, like he's afraid that Liverpool might not even score. Luis Diaz not playing, Jota not playing. Darwin Nunez is listed as questionable as well with a muscle injury. You start to think about the only guy up there is Mo Salah. Obviously, these injuries have to worry any Reds fan right now.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, right, when Liverpool struggled and it was all injury prone. So you can definitely understand that. But Liverpool, it's an easy excuse for the weekend. It was a look-ahead spot, right? Premier League season, for all intents and purposes, is over. They got no chance. This is the only competition that's left for them that matters. And I think you're going to start seeing them put all their eggs in this basket as we move forward. I mean, obviously it's early, it's group stage, you have World Cup coming up, there'll be a lot of time off. But when we get into the spring next year, I think you're going to see a lot of that because they're going to be way out of Premier League race at that point in time. That being said, for this game, I do agree that, if I'm taking a side, I'm taking Liverpool. I mean, they showed in the first matchup, I don't care if they're missing a few guys, that they are clearly the better team. And Ajax just showed against both Liverpool and Napoli, they're, not anywhere up to the level of these elite European sides. They were dominated by both teams. Liverpool, 24 shots, 10 on target. Ajax just took 3. Now that was in Liverpool, of course, but still on the road here, I can't expect those numbers changing drastically, maybe a little bit more, but nothing crazy. And then you mentioned Liverpool's inability to score this year. They had that 7-goal performance against Rangers. Of course, the 9-goal game against Bournemouth. But other than that, they've scored more than 2 goals just one time in 15 combined Premier League and UCL matches. So it's not the high-scoring Liverpool team we've seen from the past. You mentioned the loss over the weekend, 1-0 versus Nottingham. But, a draw is good enough for them here. Not, again, like we talked about City, that they're going to come in here trying to play for a draw. But as you get towards the end of the game, there is no reason to push forward and try to score goals, which that a lot of the times I look at those type of situations where a team, when it gets to the late crunch time, that's where I get screwed. When I take unders, I don't know about you guys, I get screwed on late goals all the time. And it's that stoppage time or right before stoppage time that just frustrates the hell out of me. And these type of situations where a team could be happy with the result that they currently hold, being like a 1-1 or something at that point, then I'm a little bit more, I don't want to say excited about taking unders. Taking unders are always, they're not easy. They're not tough, easy to swallow or stomach. But it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that at least one of the sides doesn't have to push for anything. For Ajax, they got to push. And, I imagine they will. But Liverpool probably is just going to hold a lot of possession and not give Ajax a lot of chances to do anything with that. So I think it's going to be another under here is the theme of my day, apparently. So you get under 3 at plus money, maybe plus 110 or so. You can also do what I suggested in the Man City game. You can buy 3.25 as an alternate line. I think it's about the same price, minus 125, maybe minus 130. Gives you a little extra cushion if it's a 3-0 or a 2-1 type of a game. But theme for me is a lot of these games, I think this week we're going to see lower scoring than a lot of people expect. And this is another one I like the under on.
Right, Nick Borrman, wagertalk.com. Guys, those are the 3 games. Let's have a look at the leans in this one, if we can get them up on the screen. I am, that's a different one. There we are. Liverpool, the short price for me. Nick, you are on the under in this one. And Pavlos, both teams to score in over 2.5. You and Nick going mano a mano on this one. Pavlos, I would normally favor you, but Nick is from Philadelphia, and right now that is championship city right now. They are just burning it up.
That's right.
Union in the MLS semifinals, the Phillies in the World Series, and of course they've got the Sixers and Flyers who are just starting their season.
Eagles.
2 teams going opposite directions, or 2 franchises going opposite directions in that one. But with that said, before my producer cuts my mic off because he's a Philadelphia fan, let's get to our best bet segment on this one. Nick, I'm going to go to you first. This is a play that I liked and was about to make my best bet on the show, but I will go a different route and let you take this one.
Early bird gets the worm, as they say. This one is pretty surface level, and it's just taking Napoli, clearly the better side, laying the goals here versus Rangers. Napoli having just a ridiculous season, haven't lost yet. They've now won 11 straight games between Serie A and the Champions League, including another solid win over Roma this past weekend. Clearly the better team. The only, I guess, potential worry is rotation, but with Liverpool right on their heels, and we know there's a benefit to winning the groups as you get I guess in theory, an easier team in the knockout round. You get the number 2 team from another group, but it's Champions League doesn't mean it's easier. But they're going to want to try to continue to win and push for wins, so I don't see them doing any sort of rotation here. So assuming that's the case, first meeting was 3-0. Napoli put up 25 shots, 10 on goal, compared to just 10 and 3, respectively, for Rangers, and that was on the road. You turn this around and come back to Italy, you got to expect that could be even a little more skewed in Napoli's favor. Expected goals in that match, 3.53 to 1.31 as well. So the chances were there. They converted their chances, which they've been doing all season long. It's hard to see anything else but another straightforward Napoli win. I would love this if you could get minus 1.5. I don't think it's going to move backwards on Napoli by any means, unless it's late and there are some lineup changes. But I think there's still okay value here at minus 1.75. we'll still half cash a bet if they win by 2. So I think Napoli's going to be a straightforward win over Rangers this week.
Nick, I like that play. Napoli are just playing absolutely lights out, not only in Serie A, but obviously we've seen it thus far in Champions League. And you're correct. If you could find a 1.5 out there, that would be a great play. Guys, don't forget, before we go to Pavlos for his best bet, that Wager Talk right now has a Halloween promotion. Boo31, BOO31. So Nick has that 5% play up tomorrow in Champions League. You can get a 1-day all access, 31% off that 1-day all access, and you can get Nick's 5% play and the rest of his plays for Champions League on Wednesday. So head over to Wager Talk and take advantage of that promo. Pavlos, give us one of your special best bet selections. I know this one is a winner.
Yeah, it's a winner where we don't care who wins. Now I'm taking a match between Atletico Madrid and Leverkusen on Wednesday. Now Atletico Madrid, they've kept just 1 clean sheet in 4 Champions League matches so far. They've been really unable to keep clean sheets at home in the La Liga as well, and in all competitions. They've kept just 1 clean sheet in 7 matches across all competitions at home, and both teams to score is 5-2 so far. And interestingly enough, they conceded goals against the weaker teams in the La Liga, like Rayo Vallecano, Girona, and Celta, among others. Now, Leverkusen, they have many problems right now. They have a lot of injuries to key players, and they added Patrick Schick to that list. However, that might seem like a bad thing, but it's actually a good thing, because Schick has been struggling with a lot of problems so far in the season, mostly psychological. He is unable to score goals. He scored just 2 goals in 14 matches in the Bundesliga and the Champions League so far. He's missing penalty kicks left and right. He's missing open shots left and right. Now he's injured, and he was injured over the weekend, where Leverkusen, they had a 2-2 draw against Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga, and their offense looked way better with Schick out of the lineup. So he's out again, and whoever is replacing him, either Hlozek or Adli, I think they're going to play much better. And keep in mind that this Leverkusen side, they beat Atletico Madrid by 2-0 in the reverse fixture. So the inability of Atletico Madrid to keep clean sheets, and Leverkusen's different offense, and of course the fact that both teams need the points here, they point me towards taking the both teams to score at -125, and of course, don't care who wins.
Don't care who wins. Love it. We always have to use that tagline at least once. I'm going to get shirts made up for the show. Don't care who wins, as long as we have the total going over or under, or both teams to score. For my show best bet, originally it was Napoli, but I'm going to go to another team playing extremely well in Serie A, and that is AC Milan. This one is a big one in Group E, away to Zagreb. Both them and Zagreb on 4 points. You've got Salzburg ahead of them with 6, and then Chelsea top of the group right now in Group E with 7. This group is wide open, so a win here is big for Milan. It will put them in a position where they're in a qualifying position with only a home game on match day 6 against Salzburg. They've only lost 1 game thus far in league play, and that was to the aforementioned Napoli. And of course, in Champions League, back-to-back losses to the Blues, Chelsea. So this is a big one for them. They just want to get into the knockout stages. They can get there with a win here and then a result on match day 6 against Salzburg. Small price on AC Milan -131, but that's where I'm gonna go. AC Milan -131 as my show best bet. I want to thank everyone, Ashley, DV, or VD in our chat, everyone putting up some messages, some free plays. We appreciate you tuning in. We're going to be back on Thursday. Kevin Dolan should be back in his regular spot. We're going to cover some EPL games for the weekend. There's the recaps on the screen again for you guys. Listen, we'll be back Thursday with some EPL. We wish you the best of luck over the next 2-3 days with Champions League and Europa League. For myself, Nick Borrman, Kevin Dolan, who's not here today, and of course, Pavlos Laguretos. Thanks for tuning in to Stoppage Time, and we'll see you on Thursday, 10 a.m.
You're a winner at Wager Talk even before the game is played with our Wager Rewards program. How does it work? Simple. Earn wager rewards on every purchase made at Wager Talk and Sports Memo. Those wager rewards can be converted into wager bucks on the first of every month. There is no additional fee to participate, and no additional details are required outside your valid Wager Talk or Sports Memo membership. On the first of each month, 5% of your wager rewards will be converted to wager bucks, which are available to purchase on all future purchases. Doesn't it feel good to be part of a rewards program with no additional hoops?